Okay, there's just some basic calendar tips 101, and there's core things that if you don't get your mind around this stuff really quickly, it's going to be a problem. Number one is if it's not in your calendar, it's probably not going to happen. And number two is if it's not on your calendar, it probably didn't happen. So what I'm doing is I'm shifting in time. We're talking about what happened in the past, and we're talking about what's happening in the future. So why do you care about this? Because you need to stay focused on the activities that you need to do when you need to do them. Why do we fail at this? We fail at this because we're distracted. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to open up your calendar and do first things first. What's the most important thing that you have to do this week? You have to prospect. I want you to add a 1 hour reoccurring appointment for yourself Monday through Friday. And it's 1 hour and it just says prospecting on it. I want it to reoccur week over week over week. That means every single working day, you're prospecting for an hour. Now, today you might not be doing that. Today you might be prospecting for much more time than that. Or you might say, well, I can sit down and make cold calls for 2.5 hours. Do me a huge favor. Don't try to outperform yourself. What you need to do is get consistent. Consistency is going to lead to habit. These things become habitual. All of a sudden, the calendar is less of a crutch and just more of a reaffirmation. What I want you to do is take that prospecting time and I want you to make it a color and I want you to make it green. Why is it green? Because it's a money activity. This money activity that you're doing every single day is generating leads and it's making your database get more and more valuable. Another reoccurring appointment that I need you to have on your calendar, particularly if you're a buyer's agent working heavily with buyers, is I want you to be studying the MLS every single day. I know this might seem arduous or ridiculous. It's not. Think about the fact that you're running a store and you're running a store in a virtual environment. And what's your product? Your product is real estate. If you don't know your inventory inside and out and understand at the blink of an eye, at the very best 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square foot home is within 10 miles of where you're sitting at this very moment. If you can't just rattle that right off the top of your head, then when you get into a conversation with somebody about real estate, what value are you adding? Anyone can do an internet search or go to Zillow to find a good deal, but have they memorized it? Are they living it? Are they breathing it? Are they demonstrating the fact that they are a subject matter expert? For gosh sakes, study the MLS every single day. I recommend 30 minutes. 30 minutes every single work day that you're working 30 minutes. Now, here's what happens. Year 3, year 4, year 5, you start getting more successful. This habit starts falling off. And as your product knowledge falls off, so does your value in the market. So it doesn't matter if you're able to demonstrate that high understanding and all of a sudden you've got some credibility and now you're functioning in the environment. It's going to fall off. It's going to fall off because you're going to be distracted by other things that are not as important. The reason why someone's going to call you and want to work with you is you're a subject matter expert. They remember who you are because you are regularly, sending things out to them either on social media or some other ways that, is in marketing, which we'll talk about. But what are you marketing? Are you a subject matter expert? Allocate 5 days a week, 30 minutes on your calendar. I don't care if you're a $100 million producer or if you're brand new in the business. If you're not doing this, you're going to have a problem. Number 3 sequence of appointments that I want on your calendar. How important is social media? For gosh sakes, you're not going to take an ad out in the newspaper to tell people that you got a listing. You're not going to take an ad out in the newspaper to tell people about your brilliant branding. No. You're going to reach people through social media primarily. You might do some email campaigns. But here is the next sequence of appointments that you have to have on your calendar. You need 3 1-hour appointments. I recommend a Monday morning appointment, a Wednesday morning appointment, and a Friday morning appointment. 3 1-hour appointments. What are you doing on Monday? You're accumulating ideas for social media posts. You might be shooting some raw video. You might be writing some content using ChatGPT or Jasper or whatever, however you do that. What you're doing is you're assembling all these components. You're assembling the components. You're basically getting ingredients. You're getting ingredients. You're taking those things. You're taking this hour with yourself and you are putting these things in a folder on your desktop. And you're accumulating ideas, you're accumulating content, you're downloading things from your telephone and from your phone, and you're putting them in a folder. Why are you doing this? Because the next appointment is Wednesday. Wednesday appointment for 1 hour in the morning. I want you to take all these bits and pieces and I want you to assemble a social media post, or maybe more than one social media post. As you get proficient at this and you find you've allocated an entire hour, your editing is going to get tight and your idea concepts are going to be reoccurring and tight. And then by the time you get to Wednesday, you're like, sure, not a problem. I can probably do 3 or 4 posts. And you're going to take those things and you're going to store them. You're going to take this complete wording, your video, pictures, links, whatever's going to be a part of this post, and you kind of have this framework for it, and you're going to store it in a file folder on your desktop. And that file folder is ready to post items. And what happens on your Friday meeting? What happens with your Friday appointment? Ready? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's now Friday morning, and you have to post. Great. Are you struggling to find out, geez, what should I post? What should I type? What should I write? No. You already have 4, 3, 4, 10, 15 posts already stacked up in your Wednesday file folder because you take the time necessary to go ahead and prefabricate these things. Okay, got it. What happens? Okay, this is a recurring appointment for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So what happens? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock. Someone calls you and says, hey, I want you to come list my house. Do you go list their house? Yes, just not at 9 o'clock. The things that you're putting in your calendar, some of these things are non-negotiable things. Now, forecasting into the future week, let's say you have 3 or 4 or 5 posts already stacked up in your ready to post folder. Someone calls you and says, hey, I need you to come list my house at 9 o'clock. Now you can make a choice. Are you going to list the house at 9 o'clock and leave your activity and go do that? The answer is maybe you're going to do that. But my goal with you is not to be having your calendar or the telephone or someone else jerking you around out of your core method and your core purpose. Got it. Okay. So now we've talked about a couple of different things that you need to do in your calendar on a regular basis. Don't violate these things. These things are green time blocking times. If you're not doing the stuff on a regular basis, you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to find method, and you're not going to have reoccurring success. Some of these things you're going to be able to hand off to an assistant as you've been able to serialize and systematize this behavior. Don't give up on your time blocking. For gosh sakes, it's a discipline and it takes time and effort. Stick to it. Please hit that subscribe button and don't forget, visit our website and schedule your free 30-minute evaluation.